Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. So glad you're here for more of your listener questions. Ricky and Scott are here, and we are tackling those listener questions and having a great time doing so. We appreciate you being here each and every midweek as we get to have some fun with this great Disney talk. Today, we have questions about using your Apple Watch versus a Magic Band Plus on an upcoming Walt Disney World vacation. So we talk about the pros and cons of each. Fun discussion was had there. We also have a guest who has been gifted a VIP tour on their next Walt Disney World vacation coming up next month. And we talk about some advice to get the most out of that experience. I mean, that is going to be a special day. Wow, how lucky is she? And she's a great friend of the show, Tammy. So we talk about what to do to get the most out of that day. Also, one of our good friends, Lisa, down in Alabama, she addresses that she saw so many ADRs available for Ohana, and she wants to know why. Ohana was always so hard to get that ADR. What's the reasoning there? We also get a question about a first-time runner this weekend running the half marathon down at Princess. What should he be looking forward to? This and much more coming your way on today's show. Don't forget, our podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan that next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney vacation for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our patrons. You guys are Club BOGP. You make the show happen. And you can support us as well for just $5 a month. It really does mean a lot to us. It really does support everything we do. So come on over. You'll get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. It's a lot of fun. So come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2439 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week, and thanks so much for being a part of the podcast family and being here for what you know is always listener questions on your midweek show. And today we have some great co-hosts with me, and I got to thank them for their awesome flexibility. We're recording this one a day late and a dollar short, which means it's going to be fresh and hot right off the presses. But right off the bat, got to say a special shout out to Scott and Ricky because, again, ultimate flexibility at the last minute, man. I was ready. I had the software. It was literally fired up. I had everything ready to go, and man, I just could not do it. It was like, I'm not going to miss a show, but so we're here on the feed. We got it. Hopefully right now it's going to be hitting you. You won't know that it was missing, but our recording time, I just could not make it happen. And these guys said, you know what? We'll do it tomorrow. We'll get it out there in time. It'll be fine. And it's because these guys are so awesome. So joining me from up in Lansing, Michigan, Sparty himself, hashtag Scotty G. What's up, Scott? Thanks for hanging in there.
Cheers, Mike. Happy to help you out whenever. So happy to be here answering some listener questions. It's a short work week, so everything feels wrong because I worked today. It felt like Monday. It was Tuesday. Now we're doing the podcast, which is normally on Monday. I honestly don't know what day of the week it is, but all I know is I'm excited to be here answering listener questions.
So if you listen to Mike in the Midwest today, so it's really screwed up around here because our school district, Francis Howell School District here, because the kids were off on Friday for a teacher development day, Monday for President's Day, and our school district has been hit with ransomware. Okay. So the kids are off school today and tomorrow and possibly Thursday and Friday because they can't get there's no internet access in the entire district. They're trying to figure it out. Now, sports
used to be snow days. Now it's ransomware days.
Exactly, dude. We are locked down. Now, sports continues because it's huge in our district. There's no interruption to sports except they can't stream the games so we can't see the sports like at home. You got to pay cash at the gate. They're not taking Apple Pay. That's the big thing, or credit cards. But sports continue, but there's no school. So Mallory was off today. She's off tomorrow. I have no idea what's going on as far as what day of the week it is either. So things are messed. The kids may never go back to school because of this ransomware attack. They're trying to figure it out. But Ricky, you just heard her. She is from the mouseforless.com, but also speaking of days gone by, a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com.
That's correct, sir. Yes, it's back.
And the subtitle there, very little clickbait. What's up, Ricky?
No clickbait. No clickbait.
Well, I mean, you got to throw it in every once in a while just because SEO, right? No.
No, I don't. I don't throw it in there. I give you the facts. I give you the info. I give you what you need to know. So no clickbait. You might get an opinion of mine or two, but that's not clickbait. That's just opinion. So excited to be back with the blog, or I guess website now. I need to actually call it what it is. It's a website. And I'm so happy to be able to share news sans clickbait, because let me tell you, I have seen some doozies over the past few weeks, especially with like involving Taylor Swift. And I'm just like, oh, can we stop? Like one of them was, is Taylor Swift going to be at Disneyland for the Super Bowl parade? No, she wasn't going to Disneyland. Like, stop clickbait.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I saw her on a blog and she was on the Matterhorn. No.
Seriously, I was like, this is getting to be ridiculous. Stop. Like, just like any chance we can throw Taylor Swift in there now, like we're gonna do it. So I'm just like, no Taylor Swift on my website, I promise. So yeah, it's just I'm just here for the news, I promise you.
I was trying to think of a great Taylor Swift pun, but I just can't think of it.
No, that's probably for the best. Yeah.
Whatever. Are you hating on Taylor Swift, or you're just like being funny because of like it's not Disney related news?
It's not Disney related news at all. Like, it's just not. I mean, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. Like, I'm not a Swiftie, but I respect the game. I respect the game for sure. But I'm just saying, like, it's not Disney news. Just because, like, you know, just because her boyfriend played in the Super Bowl and they ended up going to Disneyland for the, you know, the big parade. She wasn't going, so stop it.
In related news, I had a hot take about the Kelsey meme that's out there, the Kelsey and Andy Reid meme. Just the thought about how that's going to be out there forever.
Oh yes, it is.
On Mike in the Midwest this week. So just if you're a patron, you check that out and give me your thoughts. Okay, let's get to the questions. That's why you're here. Little Sweets 9 over on Instagram says, going to Disneyland for the first time in April. Well, about time, Little Sweets 9. No, I'm just saying, because I didn't go for like 15 years and people kept bugging me, and it was the best thing I ever did. And I was so dumb to not go. We booked reservations at Lamplight Lounge for both a lunch and a brunch. Do you have a preference? I've never eaten at Lamplight Lounge yet.
What?
I know. Because I always eat snacks in counter service. Scotty G, I know this is like, dude, Scotty G loves this place.
I do like it. I never have done brunch there though. So
I haven't done brunch either.
So I can't. Ricky might be pulling up a menu. I see like her arms were extended.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like, ooh, now I want to know what's on the Lamplight Lounge menu. Yeah,
so
for brunch.
Maybe I'll stall while Ricky brings up the menu, but I can speak on behalf of lunch and dinner, or like what? Because I thought it was just like an all-day menu, to be honest. But definitely highly recommend it. It is a cool place to hang out. You got things that I love, right? You can eat outdoors, which is one of my favorite things to do because you can't do that all the time where I live. You can have great views, you know, a water view. You're like looking over the pier, you know, you can see Incredicoaster. You have a great background loop. You have fantastic cocktails, and you have a solid offering of a menu item, a food item. So it's a win-win-win-win-win-win if to eat at the Lamplight Lounge. So without looking at the brunch menu, I can't say like which I would prefer, but definitely keep your lunch option. It is a great place to just hang out, relax, and have a good meal. If you have some friends with you, it's even a better time.
Let me just say too, Lonnie's in the chat over on Facebook, and he is just, if you don't know Lonnie, he is from Disney with the Ducks. He is one of the nicest guys ever on the internet. Not only the internet, but the whole entire world. And you got to watch for him. He'll be in your selfies without even knowing it. But he's just seriously, I love Lonnie, one of the greatest guys ever. He says, asked to be sat upstairs. You can't get the lobster nachos downstairs for brunch.
Oh.
But you can get them upstairs. Why do I feel like I'm being punked? Why can you only get them? You can't get the lobster nachos downstairs?
Like, I've had the lobster nachos every time I've been there.
Yeah.
Wait, Those sound
I've only
great.
eaten there once, but yes.
But
But
you
then
can't
I've
get them.
eaten in I've been there like 3 times in different locations of the restaurant. So I don't know. Maybe it is like a time of day thing. It could be. I don't
Maybe.
know.
But I
mean-
trust Lonnie. And I'll tell you what, if there's somebody that will not lie, it would be Lonnie. Lonnie speaks the truth all the time. So let me just say that one more time. You can't get the lobster nachos downstairs for brunch, but you can get them upstairs. So,
That answer for me then is like just do lunch because you're guaranteed to be able to get the lobster nachos.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say, why do you have to choose? Unless it's in the same day, and then maybe I get why you'd have to choose. But like,
And you don't want to eat there twice in the same day though. So
No,
like
no,
you
no.
got to
But if
do
it's-
lunch.
if it's 2 separate days and you're debating what to do, then I would say go for both. If it's the same day, then yeah, I kind of agree with Scott. I would say go for lunch, get those lobster nachos because they are fantastic. I had a few other things on the menu, but I mean, honestly, like everybody goes for the lobster nachos. To be perfectly honest, they are just incredible. But I'm gonna say the brunch options look really good too. There's a spiced ham Benedict, egg white frittata bake, a brunch burger, which has an egg on it and a hash browns, and that sounds fantastic as well. There's indulgent French toast, which is a cinnamon brown sugar challah bread, Irish cream whip, maple syrup, berries, and a house-made almond brittle. Yes, please. Lamplight chili. I can't pronounce these chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles.
No,
That's
no,
like
you're
my favorite
just-
thing.
Yes,
You're
I'm
just-
like, I know how to say it. And like,
that's
when you
Scott's
look at
thing
it,
right there. Chilaquiles.
and you know how to say it, but then you can't say it on the.
So it's funny, Jared and I were just talking about this because Jared loves them too, and we are both introduced to them at Disneyland. And now wherever I go, like I just, especially out in like Southern California, even if I'm not at Disneyland, like I'm trying to find them at any restaurant and try to compare them to just all each other because like I'm on the mission to find the best chilaquiles. And I'll tell you, at Disneyland, it's at Storytellers. Just that
good to
FYI,
know.
that's where you're gonna find the best ones. But
Those
No.
things,
And
those
then
things
they
were
have
rocking
avocado
there.
toast as well, just to round out everything, by the way, just to throw that out there. So the brunch menu looks fantastic, not gonna lie. So I mean, if you're doing it 2 separate days, I'd try both.
Yeah, she
But if
says
you're
they're
just-
different. She says they're different days that she's going over
Then
there.
go
on
for
Instagram.
both, man.
I know,
Go
that's
for
what I'm saying,
both.
dude. I'm saying I'm going 3 days at this point. I'm just going.
Yeah,
like, all the time.
exactly.
I'm setting up a tent.
I'm gonna still pick lunch though because I think you can find some good breakfast options like at some of the
Yeah.
counter service too as well. Like I like the breakfast that actually I think we learned on this last trip, Mike, that like Flo's doesn't even have breakfast anymore. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Maybe I'm starting a bad rumor there. I could be wrong, but
No, I think Flo's does have breakfast because I think I want to say that who
Okay.
was it? It was Laurie.
No,
I think
well,
Laurie had breakfast there. and
At
she
least
came by,
according to the Mouse for Less, they don't have breakfast anymore.
That's what I thought.
Maybe
So I think so there's some limited options on the breakfast. So I guess it depends on what meal you're after. I'm more of a lunchtime kind of guy myself.
And see,
But
I'm
if
more
you-
of a breakfast person. So yeah.
So yeah. So I guess I guess the answer is it is both, man. It is both.
Yeah, it is both. It is both.
Yeah.
Yes, just both.
Yeah.
Yes.
dang.
And Lonnie's chiming in. Flo's no longer
Yeah,
has
so
breakfast.
that's what I
choices.
thought. I
See?
thought Flo's
Lonnie's
didn't have
I
it anymore,
can't
which is a
keep up.
bummer because I loved rope dropping Radiator Springs racers, going over the flows, getting an outdoor table, looking
Yeah.
at Radiator Springs, watching the cars race by, watching the people walk by, have the 50s background loop, and having a nice little breakfast. Man, that was one of my favorite things to do at Disneyland.
Smoke
But
jumpers.
the
Smoke
good thing
jumpers.
is there's thousands of other amazing things you
Yes.
can do at Disneyland. So
That's true.
Okay, here we go. Vero Mike, down living the life in the land of the Grapefruit League right now. Says, go figure, I'm doing my first run Disney Sunday, and you guys won't be there. Sorry, we spent our budget already.
oh man, it's my favorite race
I
weekend.
know,
too.
and the weather's going to be perfect. I hope I didn't jinx everybody, but man, I just saw the weather forecast within the hour. It looks to be great running weather all 3 days, so you guys are going to do awesome. Any tips for a first-time runner doing the half? And somebody just chimed in over on Instagram to your question because I had it on the screen. Lizzie SLP on Instagram says, to the first-time runner, I'll be there too. You're going to have an amazing time. Don't rush it. Enjoy the experience. Stop for as many characters as you'd like. Just stay ahead of the balloon ladies. I think that is some solid advice. Just prepare the night before, make sure you have all your gear laid out, just because people take pictures of their flat people. And I saw an article a couple nights ago as I was reading my iPad. I would look at Apple News the night before and it gives you all your topics that you're into, and running's one of them. And I saw an article and it stated the reason that people do this, and I never thought about it. I thought people just do it to show off like their gear. But really what it is, I mean, if you think about it, it kind of is it shows that you have everything ready for your race the day before. Like, because, you know,
so you don't forget anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything's laid out and you take a picture, like everything's there. So that's a good idea. So that in the morning, you're not hunting around and saying, oh my gosh, where's my socks? Or, you know, my bib magnets or whatever you need. So that's kind of an idea. So that you're set in the morning, you're good to go. You know, just make sure you're out there plenty of time for your bus to get over to the start line and just, you know, take it in. But make sure you don't forget things like your, whatever is going to hold your phone holder, you know, whether it's like a, you know, waistband or whatever you have, because those are the kind of things you might forget the first time. But just have a good time. You're going to have the pictures though. Take the pictures and just, you know, have a good time.
I was going to talk about the pictures, Mike. So first timer might not know this. So there's photo pass throughout the course. Usually like in the parks. So like when you're out of, this should be the race where you go to Magic Kingdom and back. So through the Magic Kingdom, you'll see photo pass. And when you come back through Epcot, you'll see photo pass. So like everything like in between there, you won't, but sometimes it's dark. So what my trick is like, look for like these bright lights or look for the people in green,
the green,
because you want to set you want to set yourself up for a nice photo, especially if it's your first race, you know, at Disney. So when you see like the bright lights or you see like the green person like taking photos, I kind of slow down up a little bit to let people in front of me like kind of like get a jump start, so like there's this space so that like it looks like there's no one in front of me blocking. Now, you know, 4 out of 10 times there's gonna be someone that like sees that space and they're gonna hop right in front of you and block you, but you know that happens. But throughout the race, if you do that, you should at least get 2 or 3 really nice ones, which I think would be really good to like frame or have like a nice photo memory of that first race that you're doing. And my other thing is, it's always, I call it like my airport rule or like my night before the flight rule, because I always take the first flight out every single time I fly. Make sure you have like 3 or 4 alarms set so you don't sleep through them, or because that is always a fear of mine with a Run Disney race, that I'm going to sleep through all my alarms and miss the start line. And that's going to be a funny story, but kind of a sad story.
But also not, yes.
Especially if you're doing one race, that'd be tragic. And I mean, Scott and I have a rule, like we always we don't call each other, we text each other like bro you up. I mean, that's like our running thing. And like I
have tried calling Mike once because he didn't respond and he had like do not disturb on, so it went straight to his voicemail every time. I was worried like the guy was sleeping.
I know, because
Mike actually did knock on my door once because I actually did fall asleep.
Yes, it's because I mean, if you're there with somebody, you know, that's always a good idea to kind of make sure that like if they're not on the bus or they're missing an action, like check on your bro. And Lizzie SLP also said, I started packing all accessories, fuel, etc. in a bag so that everything is ready for that 2:30 a.m. wake up call. Bring a snack and some water prior to going to the corrals too. So I always run on an empty stomach. That's just me, except for the full marathon, because that's what I do every morning. Don't change. Like whatever you do at home, do there. Because I just can't. So that is what we got there. Let's see here. We got a comment kind of, or a observation from Lisa down in Alabama. Have any of you noticed how easy it is to get an Ohana reservation lately? Have any of you heard anything about the change of quality, etc.? A little worried, but maybe they added more tables. Ricky, this sounds like more of a you question, because
I will say though, a year ago tonight, I had Ohana.
Oh, there you go.
A year ago tonight, dude, you are on it. That's crazy.
A year ago tonight, I had Ohana during Princess Week after like 4, 5, 6 years off from taking dinner there because I was just not a fan of it. And I will say my spring break trip coming up, that was like the #1 requested reservation by my family because it was an outstanding meal. We absolutely loved it and been like just really wanting to get back there. So I will say the quality is good, if not better than it was, or maybe it's just because I had a long break from it. It tasted so good. So I will say though, I think it's not a lack of like quality of food. I think it's still really good right now.
Do you think maybe it's the cost? Because last time I haven't been there for a few years, and it was after a marathon with a bunch of the lizards, and I was by myself.
I was with you then too.
Yeah, too. And that bill came, man, it was heart stopping for one person. It was like $63. You got a family of 4, dude. That's like $300.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for.
So I wonder where. So you must be within the 60 window. I was going to ask when's your trip, but obviously if you're making reservations, it must be within 60 days.
Yeah.
I have this weird suspicion that spring break is going to be very slow because I was able to get. I mean, I'm talking like Easter week too. Like I'm there like spring break. It's the week leading up to Easter, and I got everything with ease. And I've seen like on our Facebook groups within the Lizards and other BR guest listeners, everyone had the same story. I got everything I needed. Everything was there. So like I don't know, like I'm hoping, you know, for myself that it's slow, but I don't know what's going on. But like I'm hearing a lot of stories of people finding reservations with ease for these spring months coming up.
Yeah.
So maybe spring breaks are like spread out this year for some reason, but did you see the crowds for President's Week? I mean, like even like, so we're recording on Tuesday, February 20th, you know, the day prior to this airing. And I mean, the crowds today, this isn't even President's Day. This is the day after President's Day. And I mean, the Magic Kingdom was nuts today.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Genie Plus sold out prior to the park opening today.
Yeah.
Like it was sold out before the park opened. I mean, there was the crowd.
I think some schools do like a winter break before.
I think you're right.
Maybe they all got ransomware and the kids didn't have to go to school. They had AMI
exactly.
days.
I mean, you guys could have gone.
I know, for real. What's up?
I've definitely noticed that President's Day weekend over the past few years has 100% ramped up as far as crowd levels. It's, you know, we used to tell people, oh yeah, February is a great time to go, and February is not a great time
not
to go
these
anymore.
weekends.
I've done this like 6 or 7 times because of Princess Weekend, and that's part of the reason why too. Because I would go down President's Weekend because Emily's off that Friday and Monday, and then Princess is the following weekend. We're like, oh, we'll just make a whole long week of it.
And I think that's what a lot of people are doing.
So you have a combination of these kids that are on like a winter break / Disney princess runners coming down, trying to make a longer vacation out of it because they have some extra time off because of the holiday. And that just leads to crowd disasters, basically.
Yep, I've noticed that too. So I don't know anything, just to kind of circle back to the Ohana reservations. I don't know if, you know, I haven't seen anything as far as lack of quality or anything like that. So, and I'm certain they haven't added more tables. But I do wonder, I suspect if, you know, something like what Scott's talking about, if maybe, you know, less people are visiting in the spring months this year, it could be something like that. So,
and it's April 18th, she said in the chat. So like, we just hit like 60 days for that. So maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe people aren't like as crazy about booking right at 60 days now. Like
usually,
I don't know.
When Easter is early, I've noticed as well. Like I kind of pay attention a little bit when Easter is early, earlier like it is this year. Most people have their spring breaks in March, and so they finish up right after, you know, right as Easter a lot of times is starting, and with it ending, you know, with Easter being at the end of the month of March, it allows for there to be more space in between spring break and the last days of school. So I think less people take those days off. So usually in those instances, I've noticed that April, when Easter is earlier, does tend to be a little slower as well. So it's just things that I've noticed, patterns that I've noticed over the past few years, just kind of watching as Easter falls. So
you guys want to know a hack of mine for because you're talking about these different spring break weeks. So
yes.
Sorry, Mike. I know it's a listener question, but I just gotta say this.
No,
really
this
quick,
is what show's all about. No, I mean, hey, if we can all help each other have better vacations, this is why we
have a spring break trip coming up, and you know, airlines are smart about that stuff, right? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna like increase your Detroit to Orlando over spring break. All right, we're gonna maximize the money here. It's like $1,600 a person for me to fly from Detroit.
God, that's insane.
To Orlando.
That
that's
is
way less than what I
crazy.
spent to go to Hawaii when I went in October.
That is wild.
So I started searching. I'm willing. So it takes me an hour and a half to drive to Detroit.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to go 4 to 5 hours. I've done this before where I've flown
out
to
Pittsburgh, right? Yeah.
So Indianapolis was like a third of the cost. So I don't know if like their schools just aren't on spring break that week. So that's some advice I want to give people. Like, look at other airlines that are drivable. You might be able to save thousands like I am. I'm saving over $2,000 to drive an extra 2.5 hours. If you do the math of the per hour rate, that's a no-brainer. So just something to think about. So I don't even think I told you guys that, but we're gonna be flying out of Indianapolis for our spring break trip because it's saving over $2,000. Isn't that nuts?
So you're gonna drive to Indy and then fly?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, so again, Indy's 4 hours from my house. Detroit's an hour and a half, so it's an extra 2.5 hours, 5 hours if you call it for like the round trip, like coming back home. I think for $2,000, I think it's worth the extra
It's so
5
yeah. I
hours
mean,
of
it's
driving.
totally worth it for the money. The drive home's gonna stink. Like that.
But you know what? It's going to be during the NCAA tournament. I'm going to put on a basketball game in the
There
car.
you go.
Be like-
Yeah,
and we're not like we're landing at like 8 o'clock at night. I booked like a 9 a.m. flight, so we'll land at Indy at like 11:30. 4-hour drive. I'll be home at like 3 o'clock on Easter Sunday. It's not going to be that bad. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm such a baby
And-
now because I used to drive all the way to Orlando, like no problem.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, but yeah,
But
that's a
it's-
great hack.
So something to consider. I'm sure a lot of us already do that, but like try to look at some other airports because sometimes you'll be really surprised at the cost. And my only thing is like Indianapolis must not be on spring break that week or something, because it was significantly less.
That's smart. Good idea. Some people think about it. Dude, that's $1,600, man. That is ridiculous.
I mean, that's to go to Florida. That is a ripoff.
That is
I
crazy.
mean, it really is.
That is.
Yeah, right?
I cannot
insane.
believe that. When you said that, I cannot believe that. Okay. To the inbox. This email says Magic Bands and Apple Watch. Dear Rio GP crew, our family's last trip to Disney World was way back in 2018, and we're finally heading back to the world later this year. On that previous visit, I absolutely fell in love with the functionality and ease of using a Magic Band. When we've been to Disneyland more recently, I've always just used my cell phone for getting into the park, lightning lanes, etc. But I've just assumed we'd all be getting new Magic Bands, or I suppose Magic Band Plus, for our next Florida adventure. But after doing a bit of research, I'm now curious. As an Apple Watch user, do I still need a Magic Band at all, or can I just use my watch instead? Even if the watch does officially have the same functionality, is a Magic Band easier and less glitchy to use? Basically, I'm dying to know, what are you and all of the other cool smartwatch wearing folks doing these days? Thanks so much for all the hard work that goes into creating this podcast. I came across it a while back, prepping for that 2018 trip. And all these years and hundreds of listens later, I'm so happy that I did. Sincerely, Ian in San Jose, California. He's right there in Silicon Valley. How about that? That's pretty sweet that he's tuned in. He's a big Apple fan too. So I will tell you, if you just want he's asking for and I'm a huge Apple fan. I have all the Apple stuff. Apple Watch, I have the iPads. I use continuity for all my Apple devices. Stuff's jumping from here to there all the time. The AirPods Pro 2. I mean, I have it all. But I will say a Magic Band Plus is just going to work better at Walt Disney World. I do use Apple Pay for my checkouts rather than my Magic Band Plus. Usually when I check out, it's just quicker. I mean, because it skips a step. Instead of using my Magic Band to check out and typing in a 4-digit code, I'll just use my Apple Pay and it just goes straight to my card, right? Because if I use my Magic Band to pay when I'm at Walt Disney World, it's going to go to my resort. It's going to go to my portfolio. It's just taking an extra step and it's going to go to my card eventually. So I do that, but you can use your Apple Watch for to get in. You can use it for your admission at the touch points. There's a thing you can add your admission media. It's called Magic Mobile, I think, and it comes up just like a touch point, like a credit card, right? Because I have my annual pass on my Apple Watch, but it's hit and miss. It does work most of the time, but when it doesn't, it's like, and it's just like another pain in the rear. So I just use my Magic Band. It's fun. I got one it's for the cruise line. It's got the cruise ship on it. That's what I use. You sound like you're kind of a fan of the Magic Band anyway. Get one and I would say use it. The only thing I use my watch for is to pay around property. But Scott, how do you feel about that?
I use my Magic Band for everything. It's just easier for me. I don't like the Apple Pay at Walt Disney World, and I'll tell you why. Because like it always comes up as like the same vendor. Like when you like look at your credit card statement, and I'm one of those guys that after the trip, I like to see like where I spent money at, and make sure everything. What was that?
Mine doesn't come up as the same vendor. Mine comes
It's
up
always
as
like,
different.
like if you go to like a dining, it's like www dining or something. It doesn't like say what it is. Where if I
mine
use
always tells me weird.
What? Oh, that's weird. Maybe it's that American Express thing or something. I don't know.
Probably, yeah, because I have the Chase Disney card. So that
It
makes
drives
sense.
me nuts. So I always charge to my Magic Band so that it goes in my portfolio so that I can see actually like where everything was that I spent, just so I know like everything's right,
Yeah.
Because when I go to my American Express and I see www blah 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 blah, like I don't know what that is half the time. So that's the reason why I like to use the Magic Band personally. But that's, I mean, everyone's kind of different. I mean, the technology is nice to use your Apple Watch or your Apple phone or whatever for iPay. But yeah, I just like to use the Magic Band for everything. It makes it more magical for me.
Yeah.
I don't eat at Olivia's. Joe's cracking me up. Yeah, everything is like Olivia's.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Old Key West dining. Old Key West dining. Gurgling suitcase.
Gurgling. You see a gurgling suitcase in there every now and
Exactly.
then.
Exactly. That's how it is. So Ricky, I mean, is it magic? I mean, and the thing is, like, a Magic Band can last for, they say like 2 years. Those things can last for 5 years. I mean, they last for a long time. They're an investment.
I haven't been the biggest fan of the Magic Band Plus, like the new, like I don't know if I just got a bad one or what, but like I don't notice that it doing all the things that like it's supposed to do. Now, like making, like lighting up and doing all that stuff. Like I don't notice that, but so I actually just use the old school Magic Band because it still works. And so I use that most of the time for like, getting into the park, or if I have, a lightning lane or, something along those lines, that's usually what I'm using. However, I do use my Apple Pay for paying for things in the park. So I'll like I said, like Scott said, his doesn't differentiate out. Mine does. I don't know what the difference is. I've got the Chase Disney Visa, so that might be why. But yeah, I end up using my Apple Pay for paying for stuff or my credit card, and then I'll use my my Magic Band for everything like in the park. So
I'm terrible. I never look at my credit card statement. I just pay it. I don't. I should look and make sure it's.
I'm
accurate.
weird. Where like,
I know.
How much I paid on a vacation.
100% opposite there.
To help budget for next time.
I know you do it right. I'm just like, oh, there's the bill. I just pay it. I'm just like, I don't want to know. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah,
I unfortunately like to know.
I know.
Yeah, I like to know.
Painful.
I know it's super
It is
painful. I just want to get it over
There's this
with.
one where we did the fantasy on the podcast cruise. It was like,
Oh.
I think we did like 9 nights at Old Key West afterwards, like in that 2-bedroom villa. So paying for a 2-bedroom villa, paying for a 7-night, like, dude, like I just about passed out.
That's why
I'm surprised the credit card company didn't call me that I was about to close.
Excuse me, is this fraud? Yeah.
No kidding.
Oh my gosh, I was painful.
And those Magic Band Pluses are, it's another thing you got to think about recharging though, which I mean, the thing is, I think we've all learned now though, that you just have a routine at night, right? You when you get into your room now, you set up like your area, right? With your phone charger, your iPad charger, your laptop charger, your watch charger. Now you got those little things you got to cradle with your Magic Band Plus.
Why I don't use the Magic Band Plus too. Is
it's just one more thing at this point. Yeah, I mean,
sometimes you got to use the Scotty G charger where I put the outlet in me so I can get
exactly right in your ear. Right there. Now because now on the cruise, and I will say, like I use my Magic Band Plus at Disneyland, and it worked great this past trip. I use that instead of my phone.
I used it on the ship too,
and and on the cruise ship. That's because that's the Magic Band that I use now. It's the Disney band. I use the one from our podcast.
I loved it on the ship, honestly. Like
it was nice.
I know some people. I mean, there's it's kind of fun to wear the lanyard, with the key to the world card, but like. I just loved opening the door and like doing everything with it on my Magic Band because it's what you're used to now in the parks.
And now they're available for all the ships. They're
nice.
Ship wide. All right, we got a question from Tammy. She is a Clemson fan. She says, "Go Tigers!" Down in Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, Mike, Ricky, Pam, and Scott, longtime listener here. Mike, I was gifted guess what she was gifted? A Walt Disney World VIP tour.
Ooh.
I want that.
Gotta give her that. My 16-year-old daughter and I will be going on March 19th, and I cannot wait. I'd love any advice you 3 or 4 can give on how to make the most of this once-in-a-lifetime experience. I've already been to Walt Disney 40-ish times, so I know the parks pretty well. I'm very interested in behind-the-scenes stuff and the little-known facts. Sadly, I think they won't take us in the utilidors on this tour. What other things should I ask about or do besides the rides or shows? I want to see and learn as much as I can about the magic and the details. What ideas and tips do you have for us? I love and appreciate all you do so much. Thanks for everything, Tammy, down in Greenville. So what would you do, Ricky? You get a VIP tour. Like, what do you I mean, come on now. This is pretty sweet.
I mean, I'm hitting up all the attractions that I possibly can. So that's usually what I'm using it for, getting on everything, Guardians or, Tron. I think you can do it for those, right? Like yes. The VIP tours can do it for those, right?
You can usually backdoor into individual
that's
stuff.
What I was thinking, yeah. So like I'm doing it for that. I'm doing it for, all the like Seven Doors Mine Train. Like I'm doing it for everything that's like that kind of stuff. I don't know the status of like VIP tours and I definitely don't think that they can take you down the utilidors. And I don't know like how much like backdoor information they can give you and stuff like that. Like everything that I've always seen the VIP tours being touted for is just like to get you on attractions.
Access. It's like it's rapid access basically.
Yeah. For a tour like what she's talking about, like that's usually like the Keys to the Kingdom tour or one of those behind the scene, like not seeds but scenes tours, that kind of stuff. That's usually where I learned like that kind of stuff from. So, and I know Disney doesn't have nearly the number of tours that they used to have anymore. I wish they'd bring back that 7-hour tour, that Backstage Magic one, because I had been dying to take that one. And then, COVID happened and then they never brought it back. So that one I'd love to be able to do because that one was really cool because you got to go underneath the American Adventure and see, how that worked and stuff like that. But I don't know that they really do a lot of that behind the scenes stuff with the VIP tours. So I hope you're not disappointed in that, but you're at least going to have access to like all the attractions. So that part's really cool.
Yeah. Just make sure you pick your favorite park because you don't want to spend time in transition because that's wasted time. You can go between parks, but if you can avoid that and you want to like focus on one park because travel time eats up time. Scott, what would you say?
Yeah. So I was going to actually say that. So I think your time with the VIP guide starts when you meet with them. So one thing they can do is they can pick you up at your resort. I would say, nope, I'm going to meet you at a park so that you can start right then. So that boom, you can like do something right away. And I'm kind of like on Team Ricky here. Like, I don't know, like if it's a 4-hour or 8-hour, whatever you have, but like I would try to do as many attractions as I can. Like I would start in Animal Kingdom and quick do everything. And then I go to the studios. Like I would just kind of make my way around and just try to like one of those challenges that you see people try to do on social media. Like, I'm going to try to do every ride this day. Yeah. And depending on how long you have, like maybe you have to cut it short because you only have a 4-hour one. I would end by asking them if they can get me into La Cava del Tequila and bypass that line because that can be a very long line sometimes because I want them to get me in there and have a margarita. My other thing is too, it's awesome that you were gifted this. I would just kind of throw out there, take care of your tour guide, make sure you like have like gratuity for them because that's like a part of the VIP tour experience is that you leave a gratuity for your VIP tour guide. I don't think that's included maybe with the way it was gifted to you. I don't really know, but just something to think about to take care of that guy because they're doing some awesome stuff for you that day.
Good tips. And what I think you're looking for, Tammy, you can get a lot of information out of your VIP tour guide. Like you're not going to probably have access to go down the utilidors per se, but what you're going to get is while you're transitioning, say between the Haunted Mansion and walking over to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train to kind of have this behind, this backdoor access. So you don't have to wait in the line. Your tour guide can give you stories of, when John Stamos came on that attraction, they're going to tell you all kinds of great stories or, when this attraction went online and they're going to give you nuggets all the time if you prompt them about that because they have the information. So that's where you're going to get really cool stories and the information you're probably craving is in this transitional time. And then boom, you're going to be on the attraction. So just ask them, what do you know about this attraction? What can you tell us? Like what famous people have you met or taken on this attraction or, stuff like that. And they'll tell you it is cool because these people are in the know. And it's really cool. So enjoy it. You gotta tell us about it too. I'm jealous. I've never done one.
Yeah, for sure. That's an awesome gift.
Yes. And like Allison says, definitely let them know you want to know about the Disney history. Exactly. That's kind of what I was trying to say, but Allison said it better. Thanks, Allison.
She did summarize it like nicely.
Yeah,
I was just rambling. Allison's like, here, this is what Mike meant to say. Thank you, Allison.
Dude, I like the way she worded that. That was very nice.
All right, Bob's got the last question of the day over on Facebook. Says we are doing a spring trip in 2025 with our 8-year-old girl. We're debating between a split stay at Caribbean Beach and Art of Animation, or just staying at Caribbean Beach and visiting Art of Animation. The biggest reason is for the over-the-top theming over at Art of Animation. Wanted to stay or visit there while she's young enough to still love it. Would you do a split stay or just stay at Caribbean Beach? So they're both, okay, let's think about it. They're both Skyliner resorts, so you're not gaining or you're losing anything because you're going to Skyliner at both. Caribbean Beach is a moderate. You're going to go to a value. So let's just assume that if they go to Art of Animation, they're going to stay at a Little Mermaid room. If it's, I don't know if it's a bigger family or not.
I mean, I'm Caribbean Beach all day, and you can go visit Art of Animation. But the kicker here is like the 8-year-old girl will probably find Art of Animation more fun because like the big animation sculptures that are throughout. But the cool thing about that is you can go out there and visit. You can take the Skyliner over or take a bus over there from another park or whatever. But I think the experience is more enjoyable at Caribbean Beach. I honestly do, because that's the hub of the Skyliner, so it's easy to navigate the Skyliner. Like you don't have to really like transfer anywhere, and I just think the rooms and the resort itself is prettier. And sometimes with a split stay, you got to pack and unpack and do all that. You can just unpack the day you check in and don't have to worry about that until you check out. So I like Caribbean Beach.
I'm with you. Now, if you want to do a split though, in Tanya is saying, do the Art of Animation for your child. If you're going to do the split, I would do Art of Animation first, and I do it for like 2 nights. I don't know how long this trip's going to be. Say it's a 7-night trip. I'd wait it where you're Caribbean Beach for the length, the longer stay. So if it's like a 7-night trip, I might do 2 nights on the front end, 5 nights at Caribbean Beach. So you're more like what Scott's saying, because you're going to have more amenities, more convenience. Caribbean Beach is going to be nicer because it's moderate. You're going to have bigger rooms. You're going to have easier
rooms
access.
are so much nicer.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about the rooms.
Yeah, 100%.
I know that the feel of Art of Animation is going to be better for the daughter for sure.
Yeah, the kid's going to like
a lot of that stuff if you go visit.
Yeah, because I mean the kid's going to like the theme at Art of Animation because it's very kid like. Caribbean Beach is more adult like because it's a Caribbean theme. It's a chill island vibe. The kid's not going to be into that as much as like the Little Mermaid characters. But you're going to want to go to the more as an adult, you're going to want to go to the more plush experience on the back end and have that for more of a length. So do that on the back end, but wait it for that if you're going to split. Ricky, would you go with that?
It depends on if there's a specific character or story that the little girl really likes at Art of Animation. I would consider the split stay in that regard if there's like if it's for that purpose. But if it's just to see it and experience it, then I might say stay at Caribbean Beach the whole time and then just go visit Art of Animation. But like I said, if there's like a certain story that she's really into, then maybe I would stay there for a few nights. That sounds like the best way to handle it. But yeah, I mean, hands down, the rooms at Caribbean Beach are so much better. And I mean, there are a lot of fun things. The food court is great at, Landscape of Flavors is great. They have some really unique things, although I don't know how unique they are anymore. I think maybe they've scaled back the menu there a little bit as well. But I think that if there's something that she really would enjoy there, I think that I would do Art of Animation as a split stay and then go to Caribbean Beach. So.
And I mean, the thing is with the Skyliner, you could be at Art of Animation. You could go there every single day of your Caribbean Beach stay. You could be there in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's also true. Yeah.
So there you go. All right. And also shout out to Driscoll.Amber, who's sitting at the pool at Jumbo House, tuned in, watching us.
Man.
Dude, killing us. I mean, we're sitting here working hard in the studios, scattered around the country, and you're at Jumbo House sitting poolside.
Because I'm normally there this week. That's what's frustrating for me. I know I'm lucky. I'm blessed that I go quite a bit. But when other people are experiencing something where I'm normally experiencing at the same time.
Yeah, that makes it so hard, doesn't it? Yeah, that's why I went to Marathon Weekend this year because I had been missing it for so many years. And every year people would go and they'd post pictures and everything. I'd be like, oh, I so wish I was there. So I get the mixed feelings you have about not being there.
I can smell Boma. I can smell Boma from here.
I can smell Boma. It's just everything. Like when you're in that lobby of Jumbo House, that is like one of the most unique things. Like the smell, the darkness of the interior, like just the sights. Oh man,
the sun's probably setting right now. Like I'm looking outside. It's probably
actually pretty dark over there now.
Yeah, man.
But still, And that pool is a great spot.
You're winning,
underrated
Amber.
pool, I think.
Oh, it's a great pool. That is a great, 100% underrated pool.
You could be in the pool and get out, get a cocktail at that lounge or whatever, and then walk over a little bit, and boom, there's some flamingos.
You know
right
what?
there.
That might be a good topic for Friday's show. We might have just stumbled upon something.
Okay, all right.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
we'll
let's
talk
talk about the Animal Kingdom Lounge. Yeah.
Well, no, underrated pools maybe.
Oh, underrated pools. There we go.
That works too.
Yeah, we'll have to talk. All right, we're jumping out of here. It's time to get out of here. Your Wednesday, you gotta get to work here. I mean, unless your school's been ransomed, but we'll see. All right, we're jumping out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us. You got a question, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. Get that in the queue, and we'll answer it right away. Don't forget, our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you get to your Disney destination. We love to get you out to Disneyland on the West Coast, Walt Disney World down on the peninsula of Florida, and out to sea with the Disney Cruise Line. I can't wait to get on the Fantasy myself, July 6th. Can't get here soon enough. We want to help you just have a great Disney vacation, and the best part, no additional cost to you. So just check out all the details this week over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click does support everything we do throughout the year. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are the VIPs of our podcast, and you guys make it happen. So you can support us starting at just $5 per month, and you'll get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. This week, we talked about when you go to school, and the day turns out to be something you didn't expect. I talked about times in my life where that happened, like you went to school, thought it was going to be a regular Tuesday, bam, tornado warning. Or the day that the sewers backed up, the school smelled terrible. Or the day that when I was in high school, they swore there was going to be an earthquake that day. This guy named Ivan Browning swore that he knew this one day in December in 1992 there was going to be an earthquake in St. Louis, in Missouri. And so only half the school came to school. I went. I wore a hard hat to school because I was an idiot. It was my senior year. And I told the whole story on Mike in the Midwest. That's what you get in the bonus shows. They're not very good shows, but they're shows. So if you want to get on that, come over. Join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. All right. Let's see. Social media for all of us. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKI-NIBS. Scott's at EpScott, EPSCOT. Almost like those buses you sometimes see around Walt Disney World. Every time I see one, I think of Scott. And I'm at beourguestmike. Pretty simple to find. Instagram, Twitter, Threads, all the places. Find us, talk to us. We'd love to talk to you. And we'll have a live show this Sunday night as long as I get back from Springfield. And I should. And it'll be just you and me because Scotty is he's doing Uber this weekend. So that'll be fun. So join me 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, all the places. We'll be talking Disney. So let's have some fun. All right. We'll be back again on Friday. So join us then and find out what the topic is because we're going to find that out here shortly. So for Scott and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.